Well, teachers in Wisconsin caught in a new controversy just days after Governor Scott Walker signed a law curbing union bargaining rights. This happened inside of the Capitol. Teachers leading young students, maybe first, second graders, in anti-government Governor Walker chants. Watch it. And they go on to chant, hey, hey, ho, ho, Scott Walker has got to go. Ann Althouse is the blogger who shot this video on Monday. She's been covering this dispute in Wisconsin for some time now. Ann, thanks for being here with us. So you shot this on Monday afternoon. About how many kids were there, and who are these people leading them in the chants?
Well, the people down in the rotunda, I think they're teachers based on their shirts and based on what they said to me. On the first floor, up one level, you see a group of children. They look like about 20 children. And I don't know if it's a teacher or a parent that has them there, but it was an off day for school, even though it was a Monday.
Okay, so they weren't skipping school to do this, and nonetheless somebody...
Now, they weren't on a field trip, but I have been there almost every day for the last month, and there have been children, people have been bringing their children through, school-age children, and even little babies coming through, even though it's very noisy.
And the chants did go on to specifically target Governor Walker. So did some of the signs being held around the children, saying he's got to go.
And children are given signs to, and children are given signs to hold and so on. So children are being used in the protest in a way that I don't think they understand what they're protesting.
No, there's no question the kids don't fully understand what they're doing there or what it means, to chant against Governor Walker. But Ann, let me challenge you on this. They may understand in general what the unions are fighting for, because unbeknownst to me, we just found out today, the Daily Caller had an article back in February, that Wisconsin's teachers are required to teach the history of the labor union and collective bargaining in that state pursuant to a law signed by the former Democratic governor. So these kids are getting this inside the classroom and now outside the classroom.
Well, I don't know if they're getting it in elementary school. I think that's probably for a little bit older kids, but it is part of American history. It's more a question of how it's presented and whether history is really taught in an appropriate way.
Well, this is what they're required, according to the article, to teach the children. That unions work closely in the community and they're responsible for passage of key civil rights laws and other protections of citizens. They face greater employer challenges thanks to President Reagan. And unions develop highly successful political efforts during the last 2 decades of the 20th century. So, I mean, this was passed by Democratic Congress, a Democratic governor in Wisconsin. It just seems clear that there is some sort of message being sent to Wisconsin's children, and there's a question about whether that's a message, a political message, or an educational one.
Well, I mean, kids shouldn't be given propaganda. They should be taught how to do critical thinking and have judgment on their own.
What do you think of it? Because we see this today, and then, we remembered, it reminded us of when, President Obama was running to become president. We saw children in a classroom chanting on his behalf. They were, the teacher obviously was a supporter of then candidate Barack Obama. Remember this video, folks?
I like that. 1, 2, 3. Barack Hussein Obama. He said
you had that back then. You have the video that you just shot on Monday. It's not like this happened a while ago. And then, Ann, we saw at the beginning of this whole Wisconsin dust-up, like the high schoolers, they look like high schoolers to me, being taken out to the protest by their teachers, and they had no idea what they were doing there.
Well, school was canceled on 3 or 4 occasions when the teachers had a sick out. The teachers went to the protest, and that's the message the students got, that school can be shut down, that teachers can call in sick when they're not sick, all to go to a protest in service of their own interests.
Well, is there an argument that what they're chanting is correct, though, that this is what democracy looks like? And if your parent wants to take you and show you firsthand what you do when you're upset with a proposed law, more power to them.
Well, I'm picturing the students when they get back into the classroom and there's something the teacher doesn't like, that they'll be shouting, hey, hey, ho, ho, this particular teacher has got to go, and the children united will never be divided. I mean, they could repurpose that lesson quite interestingly, don't you think?
Ann Althouse, thank you so much for sharing the video with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, they call them the